Update 1.12.1 is out, and it is a big update for Sector 7. This new update includes a new crafting menu with 3 tiers of Sector 7 items. These better items are needed to defeat the new ultimate boss called the Miner. So in total, this update includes 31 changes. The first change is the additional 40 slots of clan storage. This is something that we have been asking for, and they did deliver it, but the devs did tell us that this chest is temporary and will be removed when we are able to craft our own storage as a clan. So this is a great change, and it is a lifesaver. Everything else in Sector 7, including the 5 slots of clan storage you already had, remains unchanged. But you can now enter a crafting menu. This crafting menu has quite a few new weapons and armor, so I will quickly run through these 15 items. Bandages have become a lot more rare, and crafting bandages is currently the only use for cloth. So if you get a piece of cloth, then you have found 1/4 of a bandage. You can now craft the steel spear, but it requires 3 steel pipes, and it doesn't do that much more damage than your fist, so I do not recommend building the steel spear unless it is part of one of the Sector 7 quests. The handmade gun also requires 3 steel pipes, so this will be one of the main items you craft in Sector 7, but it will be somewhat limited depending on how many iron bars you get. Then I recommend saving the rest of your steel pipes for the handmade rifle and shotgun, which will be difficult to craft because springs are extremely rare. You can no longer find scout armor in zones, but you can find the materials to craft them even in the 1 skull zone. Make sure to save your handmade guns that have low durability, because once you find aluminum, which is rare even in the 3 skull zone, you will be able to use that and your saved guns to craft the shield and zip gun. Then when you get quite a bit more aluminum and some of these other rare items, you will be able to build combat armor, which is not necessary even when going against the hardest boss in Sector 7, but it does make it a lot easier. You can also build the heavy shield and sawed-off shotgun with an almost broken shotgun, but I'm a little bit confused by this weapon because it does not have a special skill, and it does not increase your armor, yet somehow has less attack than the normal homemade shotgun. So maybe it has a lot of durability, I'm not sure, but I wasn't impressed with it. When you go over to the computer, you will notice that the Sector 7 map has changed. There are now 2 sets of zones in Sector 7, 1 wood and 1 stone. Right now, since there is no way to farm stone or wood in Sector 7, there is no difference between these 2 sets of zones. But I assume the reason the devs did this is that eventually one set of zones will be used to farm stone and the other to farm wood, but I don't know this for sure yet. They changed zombies to where they stop chasing you if you run too far away, which means Sector 7 is no longer a place where the best thief wins. Furthermore, they only allow 3 people into 1 zone, so if you go as a full party, then the 3 of you will be the only people in that zone. I think these are great changes, highlighting that Sector 7 is supposed to be a cooperative challenge. So when approaching Sector 7, I recommend that you go as a group of 3. By doing so, you will use 66% less armor and bandages to get the same loot, and because they changed it to where zombies become aggressive as a group, it is very difficult for one person to gain resources in a 2 skull zone, and almost impossible for one person to even do a 3 skull zone. That being said, one player can still farm the 1 skull zone by themselves well by using their fist and free armor to loot 2 chests in 1 zone, and then after they put their stuff away, kill themselves to reset their health. After your team has all scout armor and 2 homemade guns for each of you, you can go fight the Devourer in this zone. The Devourer is mostly the same as he was, but he does not give nearly as many bandages when he dies. That being said, he does give many of the new weapons, which some of them have active skills. So after you've killed him enough times to collect a lot of those weapons, and preferably have 1 guy with combat armor, then you can go to this zone, which has the new boss called the Miner. The Miner is much more difficult than the Devourer, and from what I can tell, the Miner has 2 skills. This Earthquake Blast, which will stun you, and a Giant Area of Effect skill. I have not tried to fight the Miner myself, but the devs mentioned that he is very strong, and a team should probably have combat gear before trying to take him on. So that's an overview of the updated Sector 7, but in addition to these 22 changes, they made 9 more. They changed the picture of the Sector 7 location, and they added new quests and tasks so that we can now get another tactical backpack. They changed all the chests in Sector 7 to infected chests, which require you to damage them before opening. They added an infected symbol on all items in Sector 7. As I mentioned, zombies will stop chasing you if you run too far, but the stronger the zombie, the further they will go. So the bloaters will chase you much further than anything else. They changed the names of the enemies in Sector 7 to Wheat Guards and Guards, and they added the Oozer, which has 300 health and does quite a bit of damage. They added a chance for Sector 7 guns to do 50% critical damage, and the chance that they will miss completely. And then lastly, in the clan menu, they added the ability to see how long long it has been since a clanmate has logged onto the game. Well, that's it guys, hope that helps. That's all the changes that we got in this update. If you saw one that we missed, please leave it in a comment below. It was nice to get a bigger update this time, especially considering that it has been a while since Last Day on Earth has updated. Also, even though this is a great step for Last Day on Earth, I might not be quite as excited about it as I would, because it's hard for me not to compare it with Frostborn, which is far more advanced than Sector 7. I asked the devs why Sector 7 was struggling to keep up with Frostborn, and they gave me a really good answer, so I will talk more about that in my next video on Last Day on Earth. Alright guys, I'll see you next time.